Brie Larson, Queen of the Cheese, Queen Brie Larson. So she has been on a bit of a redemption arc lately. Okay. She's definitely been on a bit of a redemption arc. Most people remember her for coming out for like A Wrinkle in Time or something like that and being like, oh, you know, I don't care what a straight white 40-year-old dude has got to say about it. It wasn't made for you. Yeah, you know, just been an absolute, turd, basically. You know, just not being a particularly pleasant individual. But lately, more and more, over the last couple of years, probably been about the last 3 years, she's seemingly become self-aware. All right, this is like some, AI level shit. She has now become self-aware. Skynet. All right, she's become self-aware, and she actually shut down in a really brutal way a question from a journalist about basically trying to frame her and get a soundbite of her calling fans toxic and misogynistic and all this kind of stuff. She's like, no. I know what you're trying to do. No. Bearing in mind, a couple of years back, even just 5 years ago, she'd have been all over it. She'd have loved it. She'd drank that Kool-Aid. She'd have been suckling at the teat of woke. She'd been honestly just all over it. So what happened, right? Let's scroll through this. So where is it? She was basically just asked by the Telegraph, and just talking about like the character she plays. She goes, I was aware that taking Carol would make me more of a public person than I was before, but I thought that what the film was saying was more important than my fear. And I also thought I trusted myself to know how to manage my life. About her becoming a higher public figure. Nice thing, no issues there. It was a life-changing experience. A lot of the characters I play, I'm like, thank you, goodbye. Nice, refreshing to hear. Once it's done, I don't feel the need to bring them home. With Captain Marvel, most of the things I learned from her agency, her sense of self, I'm keeping. It was great that she could also be this experience for others. Nice, little bit pandery, but not bad, like pretty fine response. Anyway, the Telegraph then prodded her about why some men were supposedly threatened by her casting. And she was like, I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Right.
Just straight up. No, I don't know. I don't pay attention. So very down the line, Telegraph chose not to take that hint, continued further, and suggested that she ignored criticism as a way to cope with the supposed misogyny. So rather than taking her word, no, I don't pay attention. No. You ignored it because you wanted to handle and cope with the misogyny that you were experiencing. And she just goes, what I would like you to see is that by continuing this conversation, you are putting me in connection with something that is nothing to do with me.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then the interviewer shifted tactics about whether Hollywood still struggles to accept female superheroes. Not really shifted tactics, to be honest, just kept going down that route. I don't think there is a way for me to answer that without it becoming a problem for me. And then a publicist jumped in and basically just shut it all down. Was like, no, stop.
Nice.
Now, a lot of people might go, oh, she's been a bitch, or oh, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to remember, the woke leftards, actors, and just general pop, would not miss this opportunity to rag on people. And especially her, but it's well documented that she loves, or had in the past, loved doing this stuff.
Yeah.
She would have jumped on this, she'd have loved it. Yeah. She's been like chomping at the bit to say this stuff. The fact that she's like, no, I don't pay attention. No. I was not. This is nothing to do with me. I'm not interested in continuing this. I don't want to get involved in this. This is now that if I answer this, it's going to become a problem. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'd say two things. One, I wonder whether she's genuinely sort of changed her worldview and her politics, or whether it's just, as someone said in the chat, it's just a bit of publicity training that her publicist, her manager, her agent, whoever, the people around her, her team have said, look, this is just bad for you and your money and your career to keep saying woke shit on the record all the time. It's just not a good idea. So you can think these things, but don't say them in interview. I wonder which one of those it is. Well, it might be a mixture of the two, of course, but whether she's actually become less woke or whether her team have just become a bit more savvy, right? Either way, the other thing I would say is I just looked up while you're talking, I just Googled her age. She's a bit older than I thought. She's 35, Google says.
Yeah.
And one thing I would say is, looking back on my life, I'm now I'm in my mid-40s, 44 I am. I know I don't look it. Probably do, actually. But I can say for a fact that it wasn't until my early 30s until I really grew up. And what I mean by that is that I completely had my own mind. It was only in my early 30s, I would say, where I wouldn't be swayed by anyone or anything else. Right? I wouldn't be bullied in an interview, for example, by the time I was in my mid or late 30s. When I was in my late 20s, I probably would have been, right? Probably would have gone along with a lot more things. I didn't really have I didn't really have my own mind, even in my 20s, even though I thought I did, right? I sort of became self-aware at some point in my early to mid 30s, where I'm like, no, I'm not going to take any shit from anyone, sort of, at all, right? And I'm going to have my opinions, and I'm going to stand by them. And if I can't justify them, I'll change my mind, and all that sort of thing. I'm not going to be dogmatic, but I'm my own self-contained entity, truly. And it took until I was in my 30s. I think that's true of a lot of people, probably most people. Some people might not ever achieve that, and some extraordinary people might achieve that when they're 21. Who knows? But I think a lot of people, it's in their 30s. I think that's fair to say. And
I agree with that.
Maybe Brie Larson is she's got there now, right? I'm not just going to say woke bullshit because I think that's what the interviewer wants to hear, and I think that's what the audience, who I don't understand, want to hear. No, I've got my own opinion, and it's this, and I'm not going to be pushed off. I'm not going to be sort of browbeaten or bullied into saying something I don't want to say or something I don't think. Maybe she's just grown up a bit. Who knows?
Well, I think those are all perfectly valid points. Like I went to just have a look to see whether she's got a boyfriend or not, but whether she's got a fella, because that will often change a woman. As much as people don't want to admit that, it definitely does. She's been in a relationship since at the very least since January of last year. So I definitely think that would help. For sure.
And if her fella's a proper bloke rather than some beta bitch, right, that would help as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know who she's with specifically. But it can still make a difference, right? Like those things can still make a difference. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. So there you go. I just thought I thought this was quite fun, to be honest. Maybe it's that, maybe it's not. Maybe it's Hollywood reading the room. I doubt it. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Will they ever read the room? But I do like it. Again, just to remind everyone, I don't need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work about A Wrinkle in Time. I only care about women of color, biracial women, and teen women of color's opinions. That's what she would have said before. That's pretty full on.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big difference. And I remember she, post Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, right? Johnny Depp got invited to it was some festival. I can't remember what film festival it was, but he was invited along, and all the press was like asking her about it. She's like, they were like, well, since you're such an advocate for the Me Too movement and women, don't you feel, you know, that Johnny Depp, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, no, like, I'm not. What? Why are you asking me? No. She was like, that was like the first sign of her rejecting this kind of stuff publicly. It was really quite eye-opening, to be honest. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? This is really bizarre. So yeah, but good on her. Good on her. You know, I can't say she's a fantastic actor, but she's pretty good to look at in films. So, you know, she should be in more stuff, I guess, just from that basis.
Yeah.
I don't hate that idea, but yeah, there you go. I just thought it was a bit of fun. We'll move on from this.